Welcome to Thriving Tribesmen. My name is Kuri, your host, and I'm excited to be making this episode. The way you should view her sexuality, and I think a lot of guys, when they get into a relationship, therefore, because you've committed into the relationship, you have the assumption that her sexuality is now yours, and whenever she uses it, it somehow has to involve you. And again, it's a bit strange because a lot of you guys obviously, before you've met her, she might have had some partners, and she might also had the discovery of sex in terms of masturbation, and which evolved into her stimulating herself in terms of having watching porn, possibly, or reading novels, or whatever she had to in order to get off. So this is way before you came into the picture. So before you, there was some sexual activity that she was experiencing, and therefore, when she comes into the relationship, she now just shares that with you. Now, in this case, where you find yourself, say, in a sexless relationship, there has been some interactions, or there's been some shifts within your relationship that has caused the sexual interactions to have a negative association. So therefore, she's not open to get into a sexual interaction with you because there's some negative association around it. And the sexual side of things might not switch off. So what does that mean? It means that even though you guys are not having sex, she might still want to experience sex, but because there's negative association within your relationship around it, she will probably potentially choose to watch porn and try and get off. And I know a few guys that have experienced this, where they realize that their partner is masturbating or is doing something, she's got toys or something, but she's not having sex with them. They feel a sense of jealousy, like, okay, how is it that you're having these sexual situations in you're having these sexual feelings, and none of them you're sharing them with you. And a lot of guys feel a little bit like, oh, is there something wrong with me? Is it the fact that I'm not very good at performance? So they take this internal thing. Again, a lot of it is because there's a lot of you that are entitled. So you feel that because you are within that relationship, whatever sex acts that she does, it has to go towards you. And a little bit narcissistic as well, to a certain extent. It's up until somebody highlights to you that her sexuality is her sexuality, and you don't have a single say on how she uses it. And again, you thinking that you have a say on how she uses it is probably why you have sexual discomfort. So and it's the reason why you're sexless as well. So you have to respect her sexuality, that it's her sexuality, and she gets to share that with you. And it becomes very important for you to have the tools to create enough of an environment where she feels safe to share it with you consistently. And when I say create an environment, I mean being able to be attractive and then transition into seduction. A lot of that looks like you getting her to like you. So that means you're doing things that will make the relationship fun, interesting, and you're doing. So I'll give you an example. For me and my wife, we're quite playful. So we'll talk about certain things, and a lot of the conversations that we'll play are silly. They can kind of take a silly tone. So we're being playful. You can feel the vibe that it's quite silly. So I can say something that is silly, and she'll say something silly, and then we just sort of keep escalating that. Or sometimes, and again, that will be a non-sexual touch or non-sexual interaction, but that is creating a vibe around us being silly and having fun. And then sometimes we'll joke. And sometimes we can transition from silly to a sexual interaction. So we are saying something verbally that is not sexual, but physically we're doing something sexual. So, for example, I'm hugging her from the back, or she's hugging me from the back, or we're being playful in that way. Or we can wrestle, which is another interaction that we have. Again, all of these aids towards us being able to have sex because we're building up towards it, which is, again, a large part of it is within the attraction mode. The transition into seduction is the interactions where now I'm showing sexual intent and I'm saying, okay, I want us to have sex and therefore I want you to be compliant. And she's more likely to be compliant because I've done the other bits to make her like me and want to be around me. So guys tend to not want to do this other bit. They don't want to show up in a way that's going to make her like you. You don't want to show up in a way that's going to be dominant, show her that you are a leader. You don't want to show up in that way. You just want to feel entitled to the fact that whenever she feels sexual, then she should be giving it to you. And I'm laughing because I think I'm laughing because I was about to swear, and I know this is going on YouTube, so I'll try and hold it in. I'm laughing because it's just a convoluted way of thinking of things when it comes to sex. And again, I've been privileged enough to be in thousands and thousands of interactions with women, and a lot of them I was trying to sleep with them. And one of the things that I started discovering is that's the sexuality. Like, if you respect your sexuality and then you create the environment for her to express it, all of a sudden it changes the interaction. If I go into that interaction expecting her to give it to me because somehow she should be giving it to me, 9 times out of 10, it won't happen. So hopefully that's something that's going to reframe how you think about her sexuality. So when you see your partner watching porn and masturbating or something like that, or you catch them doing that, I want you to start thinking about it as a positive. And it's a positive because she's at least exploring her sexuality. She's at least putting herself out there sexually. And I would encourage it. So if you caught her like, you know what, I noticed that you were watching porn the other day. I think it's really cool. What sort of porn were you watching? Again, obviously don't speak about it when you're feeling negative or something. You wait for the time when you both are in a positive way. And then just ask about, okay, I noticed that you watched porn the other day, and I thought that was really cool. I was a little bit conflicted by it. Maybe if you want to be raw, but I would say, yeah, I noticed that that's what is going. I think that was really cool. What turned you on? How was it? And just talk about it. And when you can open up and talk about it, again, if she's dismissive, again, it's not her dismissing you, it's your approach. So if you've got negative vibes, she'll feel negative vibes and not want to talk about it. And again, she might not want to talk about it because she probably feels like she needs to protect you from the details, just in case if you are jealous again. So it just shows that there is some issues that you need to deal with before you actually get that sexual frequency up. So in order to get that sexual frequency up, you need to actually start considering that her sexuality is got nothing to do with you. She can share it with you. And again, it's the same to you. Your sexuality is your sexuality. And therefore, if you choose to watch porn, if you choose to masturbate, if you choose to give it to somebody else, it's your choice. But you can create an environment where you can share it with your partner. And again, this is where it's the key. So hopefully that's something that has reframed your mind and actually got you thinking about how you view her sexuality and how then you can actually interact in a different way so you can have some sexual frequency. So thank you very much, guys. I'll be seeing you guys soon. Take care.